Yes, Avi, I'll just share my screen now. So first of all, thank you, Nils, for the wonderful talk, and thank you all the participants who have been who have devoted the time to listen to this workshop, which we have organized over 2 days. So to recap, we ended up with over 450 participants who registered, and at any point of time we were easily around 100 to 150 listeners who were logged in into the system. So over the 2 days, just to recall what we did, so uh, we had uh, we had organized this workshop so that we could cover different aspects of reverse engineering and hardware security using machine learning. And basically, we selected our speakers to actually represent different parts of the problem, so that at the end, the attendees can look at the bigger picture. So the yesterday's program, it was more dedicated towards physical attacks. So we had first three talks which were related at three major physical attacks, that is hardware Trojan, side channel attacks, and fault attacks. And they were showing how they use machine learning techniques to actually help assessment and detection of these problems. So these talks were given by Silvan Kiyes, Stephen Pisek, and Devdeep Mukhopadhyay. On the fourth talk yesterday, we then switched the table and we focused on how these attacks can be harmful enough to the machine learning itself, and we showed how which was given by Dr. Mantu Jap and Dr. Shaluhu, that how side channel and fault attack can actually enable secret model recovery from a machine learning algorithm by applying classical techniques that are used in side channel and faults for over 2 decades. And finally, to conclude the day yesterday, we had a talk from Rampers, which was given by Mr. Stuart Kinsett, who talked about countermeasures and protecting uh, the whole security ecosystems by proposing a range of problems and range of solutions uh, that one must look on from a product security point of view. Today, the focus was towards reverse engineering. So the first talk, which was given by Dr. Leonid Reswell, was a very nice overview on algorithmic methods to IC reverse engineering. The focus of the talk was scan-based technique, but Leonid did manage to actually give us a very nice overview of other techniques that are widely used into the into practice when we are trying to go for IC reverse engineering. Then we had Prof. Gui, who talked about IC circuit retraction. So this was a next level talk where they start from already acquired images of a circuit at a different resolution and at different level. And then he was presenting the technique how we actually convert these images, which are typically extracted from circuit decapsulation, preparation, as well as some imaging techniques to retrieve the netlist. And we had a good spectrum of different techniques also enabled by machine learning, which was presented. And at the end, the talk ended with a very nice video of putting everything together, how different steps are actually connected and how layers are imposed on top of each other to actually uh, make out the overall netlist. The next two talks, which was given by Professor Alex Bronstein and Mr. Amit Gorski. So this talk was actually more on stimulating our audience and participants in a sense that they wanted to present or they tried to present like how the problem of graph theory and recognizing shapes is very relevant to the hardware reverse engineering, and they could present techniques which are already existing in those domains and can directly be applied towards circuit reverse engineering. And finally, we had a very nice talk from Nils, who was lastly presenting uh, HALS and Dana, the two open source tools that they're developing for netlist reverse engineering, which will be also presented at just this year. So overall, we covered a good spectrum, and this definitely like uh, allows us to find common points between different techniques which are independently developed, and probably develop a ecosystem that is more robust and a more uh, aware of, about different techniques, so that we can come up with a common solutions that meets all these problems. So with this, I'm done with the recap, and I would like to invite Avi to actually give some final comments, and especially regarding how we can collaborate on these topics and take it further.
Thank you very much, Shivam. And I will do it very, very short. First of all, one of the purposes of the workshop was to start or to establish collaborations. So if you think that any of these talks fits your research, or we can collaborate, we are assume any connection with any of the speaker and so on can help your research, it would be great to create new collaborations out of this workshop. The last point that I want to make, which is more technical, is the difference between the use of machine learning in the first day and the second day. And the main difference, at least from my point of view, is that in the first day, since we work for side channels, usually we have plenty of examples to allow the machine learning to learn from, while in the second part, most of the techniques that we are using machine learning, we have very few examples, and then we need to use totally different tools and techniques. And this time we focus on tools that came from geometric and from graph theory, etc. But maybe we need to look for other techniques like the trainer or a few other RNN and so on, techniques that actually allows you to make reasonable reasoning with a very few a number of examples to study it from. So I think that this is just open the flow to new research, and I hope that we will continue collaborate, and maybe we'll have another workshop in a few months or next year. Thank you. Last but not least, we will distribute some feedback form soon. And anyhow, if you have comments, questions, requests,